Hello, hello. Here we are. Thank you for joining us. A couple months ago, when I planted the seed, I said, "Hey, Kristen, do you want to get together as like two biz witches and jam on quantum magic and sacred business strategies?" And she was like, sure, that sounds awesome. So here we are. And Kristen, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Kristen Jett, founder of Starlight Strategies, Profit Priestess, Mystic Strategist. I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs align their business with service and prosperity, because it's not a business if you're not changing things for your clients. It's not a business if you're not making money. So I use human design to tell your story and the story of everything you are, everything you can be. I use ritual in the quantum space to align your actions with your energy of what you're calling in and who you're supposed to be. And then we tie it all together with attraction marketing strategies. So, yay, that's me.
Yes, awesome. And I'm Flora, and I am a leadership mentor, sacred business coach, and circle priestess. And I help women hear their soul's voice so that they can remember their wisdom and step into their power. And whether that means running a business or running a household, I really see more and more women today stepping into their leadership. My specialties, as it were, is archetypal psychology, and that's understanding your archetypes so that you understand your own strengths and shadows and begin to embody your unique feminine power. I also specialize in moon magic, lunar cycles, and earth rhythm attunement, being really attuned to seasons. And also, with a career background in marketing and communications, I specialize as a consultant for launch strategies and online marketing. So Kristen and I have been working together and being client coach and biz besties, as it were, for a couple years now, right? Yeah. And we find that we just really resonate with each other's style and strategy. And so I think we're both really excited to talk to you about quantum magic and your sacred business today.
I think I'm always excited to talk about quantum magic.
Exactly.
Like one of the things you can't shut me up about.
Exactly. Wonderful. Well, to start us off then, I want to get us really grounded and present. Oh, and make sure you have a journal handy or some paper and a pen for later on. There's going to be definitely some stuff that you'll want to write down. So as you're getting yourself settled, I invite you to close your eyes and really feel where your seat is connecting into the chair or wherever you're sitting, and your feet on the floor, and tune into your breath. Breathing nice and easy, not feeling like you need to change anything about your breath. As soon as you naturally pay more attention to it, your breathing will become slower and deeper. Our breath is our ever-present vehicle for us to bring us into the power of the present moment. Our breath is our ever-present channel for us to come home to our bodies. And noticing how you're already becoming more relaxed and more present just by this simple act of tuning into your breathing. Picture now an orb of light above your head. Notice what colors it is for you, this shimmering ball of liquid light. Mine is usually white and gold. Yours may be silver and pink or violet. This is unique to you. And just see it shimmering and hovering above your head. And now bring your attention to your crown. The crown chakra that's at the very top of your head. And begin to feel the petals of that crown lotus chakra opening up, preparing to receive this liquid light. And using your breath and using your visualization to open up that crown chakra. And when it feels open, seeing that orb begin to pour that beautiful liquid light down through your crown and feeling it coat your beautiful brain, fill your head, stimulating your pituitary and pineal glands, flowing down, coating your throat, moving down, washing over your shoulders, flowing through your heart, flowing down through your solar plexus, down into your belly, filling your belly, and down into your sacral chakra, filling your hips, filling your pelvic bowl. You may want to do some hip rolls, really feel this as an embodied visualization. Now the liquid light reaching your root and down each leg, flowing down each leg until it reaches your feet and now pours out the soles of your feet through the floor, into the ground, through the structure of the building that you're in until it reaches the earth. And flowing down, continuing to effortlessly and elegantly root down into the earth. And you now feel yourself as a conduit, as a channel, because that liquid light is still pouring in through your crown. You are now filled up like a river, a channel of this liquid light, of this healing, cleansing, clearing energy through your body into the earth. Feeling yourself more rooted, more grounded, more clear. And now the sphere, the orb of light, closes up, not because it is empty. There is an infinite amount where that came from, but it seals up. And you see it float away. You thank it, send a blessing of gratitude, and then feel yourself just drain out beautifully. And sending a blessing of gratitude to your body, to the earth, and to this present moment. And placing your hands over your heart, just breathe that in. I am here now. Repeating that. I am here now. And when you're ready, take another deep breath and slowly open your eyes and come back to the room.
Thank you. That was lovely. Okay. So now that we are all grounded, now that we are truly connected to who we are and back in our body, back centered, we're going to connect on the quantum field to the deepest and the strongest leader aspect of ourselves. No need to question what that looks like right now. Just know that as we step into the quantum heart space, we're stepping into a place that's in between. So it is where you're connected to pure possibility. It's where you can have anything, you can be anything, you can do anything. And for me, it's often where some of the deepest shifts happen for myself and for my clients, and it can blow you away. Mm-hmm. So take a moment and a couple of deep breaths. We just want to see them go through our body and notice if there's anywhere that feels a little tingle. Right now, we're just going to notice it. And then we're going to close our eyes and place one hand over our heart. And I like to take a couple of deep breaths, just sending them straight to my heart. And as you're calm, as you're quiet, I want you to picture photographs flying around you. And as they float around you, surrounding you, maybe hugging you, you notice that it's pictures of all of the places, all of the people, all of the things that you love. It might be family members, it might be a past experience, it might be, for me, there's often palm trees and beaches. And you're just going to notice them flying around you, filled with the energy of love. And as they come closer, each photograph is going to drop into a little slot in your heart, one by one, dropping in until you get deeper and deeper and deeper into the heart space. And now that you're there, I want you to take another deep breath, just noticing, what does it feel like to be here? What feels different? If you've never been here before, it may feel a little bit too easy, and that's okay. It's supposed to feel easy. It's just tapping in to your natural essence, the natural place of your heart. Take another deep breath. And then I want you in the heart space to look out into the horizon in front of you. Just looking, know that you are entirely safe. And as you're looking in front of you, ask to see a vision of yourself as the most connected and the most transformative leader that you can be. And just allow whatever comes in to come in. And maybe actually a vision of you. It may be a vision of you and your next offer or in a next program. It may be a symbol. It may be a word or a number. Whatever it is, know that it's entirely safe. And if something about it feels a little funny, you can start by just sending it some love straight from your heart. Do like your Care Bear stare. And just take a moment to see, what does the heart space want to show you about who you are as a leader. And whatever is being shown to you right now, I want you to motion it over to you. And it's getting closer and you can see more details. It's coming. You don't have to do any work. This version of you who is the most transformative, who is the best leader, coming to you effortlessly. And as she gets closer, or as the symbol gets closer, there becomes a gift here for you. And if it's a person, maybe she's holding it, maybe the symbol's merging with you. But I want you to open up your heart and accept this gift now. We're just going to let it be absorbed. And take another deep breath. If it feels a little heavy or it feels like you're taking in a lot of energy, just take another deep breath and let it settle as far down in your body as you can. And I want you to hold the image of what this gift looks like, of what it looks like when you are embodying it. And hold the image of you as this leader. And then I want you to find a spot on your body that feels a little tense. If you're not sure, you can start with your heart. Your heart or your solar plexus are often the main ones. I want you to find that on your physical body too. And then I want you to just place your other hand out in front of you. I like to just hold mine out in the air. I'm going to do one on my heart and one just out in the air. And you just kind of wave it around until you find a spot that feels a little different. And it might be a little heavy. It might be that you feel tingles. Right now I'm feeling tingles. It might be that your hand slows down. Whatever it is, just find where the energy shifts. And we want to hold that spot. And as you hold these 2 points, I want you to picture a line that connects the two of them. And know that as these lines connect, it's pulling in the version of you who has that gift of leadership, who is the most transformative leader, and it's connecting that version to the version of you that exists right now. We're going to hold those points, and then I want you just from your heart to let that line completely zap away, fade away. For me, I see it completely disintegrate into the heart space, into the cosmos. And if you want to hold the line, you can, and just feel what it is to be different. And if it feels easy, it's exactly as it should be. And just let it be, knowing that on all timelines, on all past, present, parallel worlds, this version of you is now what's integrated. And you can take another deep breath and just let it flow through your body. And when it feels good, you can come back to consciousness. You just take another deep breath.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is my favorite work.
Yes. And I've done that, you've led me through that guided visualization at least 5 times. And every time it's a little different and more potent and deeper. So.
Even if you do it the exact same time, like the exact same way, replay this recording, it's going to be different each time. And to me, it's always fascinating what wants to be shown to us. What aren't we seeing about who we're supposed to be or what we're supposed to have? Because so often we're not tapping into the full possibility.
Yes. Yes, and that's the beauty of this work, is that we repeat it. It's a repeated practice, and every time it goes deeper. Every time we learn more. Yeah. Thank you. So now that we've touched that really expanded part of ourselves, that vision, and we can see, we're placing ourselves to see our highest potential, right? Whenever we expand out and we let ourselves dream big, and we touch, that highest potential, we touch our destiny, and all of that, exciting inspiration download, drops in, is like a download. At the same time, all of our fears and doubts and, resistances can come in at the same time, right? I think they say like within 15 seconds often. And so it takes practice to be able to move through that resistance that will show up so soon, right? So that I wanted to ask this journal question to around your resistance, around your blocks. When you see yourself in that expanded version, what part of that big vision for yourself and for your business makes you feel like shrinking? So write this down in your journal. I'm going to repeat it. What part of your big vision for yourself and your business makes you feel like shrinking? There'll always be a contraction after an expansion, but we can learn to work through that. But what part of that vision for yourself makes you feel like shrinking? Think about who you have to become to bring your soul's calling into the world. What part of that maybe scares you? What kind of old story or some rules do you have running around in your head that are holding you back? Where do you typically pull back in your power? We're not going to give you time to journal on this right now, but I just wanted you to write that down to journal on later so that you can look at where your resistance is. What part of it makes you feel like shrinking? I know that when I've done this exercise at different times, I still have this old story of, in order to be successful, I'll have to wear high heels that I hate. I'll have to wear uncomfortable clothes. I have to look a certain way. I have to be somebody that I'm not. But for some reason, being successful equals being inauthentic or disingenuine to myself. And so that I don't want to have any part of that, right? There's another old story that I'm sure a lot of people have, that in order to become the most successful version of myself, that means that I have to like abuse power or like step on other people, or more for me means less for someone else. So if those kinds of stories are subconsciously running in your head, you don't want to have any part of that, right? If you think that becoming successful means that would take you away from your family, then you're maybe the kind of person that's going to choose your family, even though you can have both, right? Why can't we have both? Why can't we have success and we can be authentic to ourselves? We can have success and we can have loving, supportive partners and family and all of that. Do you have anything you want to add into that, Kristen? I mean, I'm sure you do, but like around these resistances?
I think that is good.
Mm-hmm.
That gives them enough to play with. We don't need to spend, because the thing about resistance is you don't have to hit them all at once.
Yeah.
There's the desire to want to go down the rabbit hole and find them all and dig them all out. But it's an ongoing process. You're going to discover more each time, and they're going to change as you evolve. So just notice what comes up first and know that you can come back and explore that work at any time.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Okay. So now that we've discovered some of our resistances and we're leaving space to get more clear on that, we're grounded in ourselves, we're tapped into the version of ourselves that is that true, aligned, transformative leader, you're probably wondering, how do you transform this into your own business? How does this translate? What do you do? And creating from the quantum field, great, but you have to actually do the physical work as well. You're not just going to be able to go in there and magically have everything fall into your lap. The world just doesn't quite work that way. So we are going to share our own methods to give you some inspiration and to give you some things that, especially if you're a generator or a mani-gen, that you can and to as you listen to. And remember, this isn't your template. This isn't you have to go out and implement all of the things that we do, but it's giving you new ideas of what are ways that you can hit all of these aspects while showing up as a leader. And if you want to spin it out into your own process, great. That's exactly what you should be doing. You should not be following anybody else's cookie cutter template. It should be about discovering what you like about what other people are doing and ways to implement that into what's really true to you and who you are and who your business is. That's got to be at the core of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I even want to say, full disclosure, Kristen and I are both manifesting generators. And even that doesn't mean that I could copy her strategies or vice versa, right?
No, and our businesses have different energy. We have different gifts in our design. There's so much more to it than just I like what you're doing. Let me go do it. It's not going to work the same way.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start talking about client attraction, because that's likely where everybody wants to focus on at some point in their business. That's kind of the big thing. If you don't have clients, it's kind of hard to serve.
Mm-hmm.
So Flora, why don't you tell us, what are some ways that you show up as an aligned leader while attracting clients? What are some of the things that you do that feel really good to you?
Some of the things that feel really good to me are definitely video marketing. And I know that that's not the case for a lot of people. But I definitely took to live video, especially when it was first out. In fact, I was even on Periscope when Periscope was a thing, before the Facebook live stream, because I just find that when I'm on video and I can talk and share my energy, I can just connect more, and people seem to really connect with me. So I have really worked in a lot of ways to have either Zoom, right? I deliver a lot of my content and ways to connect with potential clients through either Zoom or live video. And before I ever get on camera, I'll always be doing some energy work and really making sure that I'm clear, that I'm grounded, and that I'm at my most magnetic. And I use oils. We were actually just talking about what oils we had before. I'll even sometimes have a crystal in my hand or in my pocket, or even at least on my desk. I might smudge myself with sage if I need to. And I'll definitely be doing visualization and, so that my energy is really, really centered. The other way that that client attraction works well for me, and again, my design and my archetype and all of that, is in creating experiences, hosting events. And so I bring people together, and that's one of my gifts as a sacred space holder. But for example, my free 5-day challenges have been really popular, and that's a way because I'm creating an experience. I'm hosting a party essentially in a lot of ways, and I love being that hostess. And so that's another way that I've attracted clients to me.
Our ways are entirely different. Well, I do use video. I can't do it all the time, or else it completely exhausts me, especially more so if it's live, because then I'm feeling everybody's energy. I do some of the clearing work before videos. I often do quantum work so that it is connecting. I also charge my makeup and pick the oils. So it's if I'm wearing a particular highlight, that's when I want clients. That one is charged for when I want clients.
Ooh, neat.
There's actual stones in it too, so I'm getting the crystals involved with it. That's my little thing. What I mostly do is first I started with the energy of who I need to be to connect with the right clients for whatever way I want to work with them. And I started then tapping into how much can the soul of my business hold? Does the soul of my business know who is supposed to be in this program and how many people? And sometimes it surprises me and I'll get exact people, or I'll get numbers that I wasn't expecting. From there, I want to go down the energy route and see if I can tap in a little more on who it is and what do they actually need from me? What can I speak to that they need from me? I do not have the energy to be on all the time, which if you follow me anywhere, you're going to notice this. I go hermiting a lot. I don't have the energy to be present all the time and hold constant space for my clients. And I would rather show up when I have something really important to say than to be constantly present. It's probably the quadruple Scorpio in me. You just don't need to see me all the time.
Well, I definitely don't go live every week or anything, but no, I don't go live every week. Yeah. Or anything like that. I just wanted to say it wasn't like, yeah, I'm constantly present and all of that.
No, it wasn't like a thing. It's just, I feel like you are so much like more consistent on video, and I get months where I can show up really strong. And then I get months where it's like, no, my energy is actually supposed to pull back and create something, or supposed to tend to these people. And it's, for me, really honoring that is essential for client attraction. When I try to push, everything just stagnates and nothing really happens. When I think about, like, right now, my website's actually down, and yet people are filling one-to-one programs that they don't know exist because I haven't talked about them, but yet they're still coming in from me just having the energy and talking about things that are associated to what they need. Knowing the transformation you're creating for your clients and knowing the pillars that relate to that is going to be the most important thing to bring them in. So that is the core of the very small core of what I do. And sure, I talk about this a whole lot more everywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. And we wanted to talk about the tangible, like, how do we show up? How do we serve? And yeah, like, hosting a Facebook group is going to work for some people. It certainly has for me, and it's really not going to work for other people. And so, like we keep on saying, like, don't think that you need to do anything that you see other people do, like, in terms of a strategy. And as far as energetics, I mean, my very first launch that I did in 2016, when I barely knew anything, I did a whole ritual, a pre-launch ritual the night before. And I honestly hadn't even worked with any coach that had guided me on that. I was from my own spiritual practice. And some of those client attraction rituals I've now put into a guide, because I want to share that guide with other people, because there's both, right? Like we keep on saying, there's the energetics and then there's the action. And you need both to have a successful business.
Yeah, there absolutely has to be both. I mean, one of my programs is about essentially mastering that energy and mastering the energy of who you're speaking to, and then how to walk them through the transformation of the selling process. Because if there's not a transformation for them during that sales process, why would they come aboard with you? Like, there's no reason. There has to still be that piece. And for me, transformation has to be like the foundation of everything that we're creating. And so often we get hung up on the attraction part and forgetting that it's the transformation we're attracting them to.
Yeah, that's so key. It's the transformation. And since we're in the business of transformation, we also are being transformed by our own work. We're constantly in the process of being transformed by our own business as well. And so that's, I think, what's unique to the kind of work that you and I do, and everyone that's likely watching this is as well. It's, we are always growing and evolving as our business is, as we're serving our clients, because we're in the business of transformation. You cannot be transformed yourself. Well, if you're in that, it's quite the ride, isn't it?
Makes life interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one way to ensure that we grow.
Absolutely. I mean, it's no joke, but they say that entrepreneurship is like a personal growth accelerator in any case. So, and so then after we've attracted these clients, then what we have to do to stay in business? We have to make a sale. And so as we're taking you through this flow, client attraction, and then now into selling, this is something that a lot of the resistance comes up. And I think that before women entrepreneurs can really start to sell, there's often a lot of clearing of, resistance and blocks to that. The big ones, like, there's just so many lies out there that selling is wrong, it's icky, there's some part of you that feels like you just can't do it, or it comes back to that you don't deserve it. So this is where a lot of the clearing and some healing often needs to happen, money mindset work, before you can really open the doors to selling in your business. So I want to ask you now, Kristen, how do you show up as an aligned leader while selling?
I think I actually approach this a little differently than most people, because I will say, like, yes, the money mindset work is great and that's important, but there's also, let's not ignore like the pink elephant. Sometimes sales is icky, and that's when you're doing it wrong. That's when you're following like the patriarchy way of doing it, of, when you're feeling like the used car salesman, that's your body telling you something's out of alignment and you shouldn't be doing it this way. So for me, it's really all about communication and connection, to the point of, I've had clients, well, at that point they weren't clients yet, but people who are talking to me about whether a program's right for them, and they're telling me that they've received more attention from me than they have from people that they've hired. And to me, it's not about just giving your time away, but it's about making sure that everybody is actually right for where you're bringing them into. Because if they're not right, yes, you're going to get money, but you're not going to have a positive experience. You're not going to feel good. They're not going to feel good. They're not going to talk about what has happened through you. It kind of starts the spiral of misalignment that you could just avoid by making sure that people are very right for every single offer and program that you're opening. With this, it's how can you connect to people on the level that they need to sell? And that's really the key. We don't need sales scripts. We don't need, all of those things that people tell you. We don't have to use fake scarcity. We don't need to use fear or manipulation. All we have to do is really connect to them and see if we can hold a vision that's bigger than what they can hold for themselves. If we can't, we're probably not the right person to be working for them, because somebody else will be able to tap into that vision for them and help expand them and grow. For me, that's really what I focus on. I, of course, use ritual and tools to make sure that I am attracting in the right people, and I may have oils. My desk is essentially a giant altar. I have pyramids with signifiers and crystals for every single offer to draw in the right people. I have crystal grids, lots of crystals and oils. But on the personal level, making sure that it's really, truly about connection first. And if it is something more like a launch, then I want to think about, how can I show them where they're going to be at the end? How can I show them what is going to be transformed for them? And how can I make it really clear that this is aligned to their own design? Because all of us have been given guidance where it doesn't work for us. And often if we go back and look at it, if we look at our human design, something in it is why that hasn't worked for us. And I'll talk to people a lot where it'll be like, well, this person told me just to go do this, and I had to make this sudden shift, and I had to show up in all the places. And I'll just kind of look at it and then be like, well, you're a generator. What were you responding to? And if the answer is you're responding to your coach telling you to do something, it's probably not a response that's actually going to engage your energy and get people able to pay attention. If your energy isn't coming out of you, everything that you're doing is for nothing. So for me, we have to go back to our design and understand, how can we use those natural gifts in how we show up, in how we launch, in how we sell, and everything has to be correlated to that. I start and end my launches with my human design, and sometimes with my team's design, because their energy is going to be wrapped up in it too, and they're affecting it. And we need to know from that kind of standpoint, how are we making that energetic connection on them? And then how are we making a tangible transformation? From there, it's just about getting clear and making sure that we're connecting.
Yes. Yes, that's so important. And I love that you focus on getting the right people into your offers, the aligned clients, because you're absolutely right. That's the only way that you're going to be working with the right people. They're going to have a great experience. Then you're going to get a great testimonial. Then they're going to, basically become your referral system because of the amazing experience that they had with you. And 10 really aligned clients is going to be so much better for your business than 100 or more misaligned clients. Absolutely.
With the 100 or more, that's when you're going to find that you have payments failing. That's when you find that you get refunds, and that's when all those troubles come in. For me, when I focus on aligned clients, I very rarely have to worry about like, hey, did their payment fail? And if so, it's usually like, oh, I forgot that it was on this credit card, and my bank switched my cards, as it happens for all of us. I have only ever given a refund once, and that's because I canceled the program. Wasn't because somebody was unhappy. And I hear all these people talking about, well, we had this and that. And it's the very simple way to avoid that is just to make sure it's the right people and that you're serving them in the way that's going to best support them. Mm-hmm. That might mean, adjusting a package and giving them a custom package, but making sure what kind of support do they need for their design, for their energy, for where they are in their business, what's truly going to benefit them the most, and making sure that that is what we're directing them to, instead of just like, oh, I need to sell 10 spots in my highest offer.
Yeah, that's so true. And I know for me, the thing that really was was a turning point for me, and really being able to sell more, to turn to convert, right? I don't necessarily really like that word, but to convert that like fan into an actual client, was really connecting with what you were talking about. Like what is the transformation that they're going to experience, and what were the tangibles in the very beginning. I had a hard time expressing the tangible results of what I was offering. And the more that I spent constantly refining my message in my marketing to speak really like directly to that soulmate client, and to like into what they were going to receive, and what it was about, because that marketing copywriting, it's so key, whether it's written or how we're able to express it in a video or whatever it is. Once I really got better at refining and was able to explain that transformation, to explain the tangibles, to really understand what my soulmate, with my aligned client, was looking for, and being able to speak to that, then it was all of a sudden selling was a lot easier. And so there's this dance, isn't there, where we need to be really aligned in ourselves to what we're offering, and our passion and excitement for it, and our belief in it. Because getting back to that the used car salesman, like that's, if you don't need a car and someone's trying to sell you a used car, that's when it feels icky. You're like, I don't need that, right?
Or even just not what you want.
That's right. Yeah.
I think about the last time that I bought a used car. I had these specific things that I wanted, and I remember the guy brought me to like a car so old that it had a cassette player, and I remember being like, my number one thing is it has to be, I think it was like only 3 years old or 5 years old for my bank to give me a loan. And I was like, I have very clearly said the only way I can pay for this, if it's a newer car, don't take me to something that's like from the 90s.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so, it's that not listening. He wasn't listening to what I needed and what I wanted. And I did not buy a car from him.
Good. I'm glad you didn't buy a car from him. That's so true. But yeah, I wanted to say this alignment piece. Like, we need to be really aligned to our offer and our own excitement about sharing it, and remembering that selling is a service in this respect. Like, we're serving someone, we're helping them. It's not just like, yeah, exactly, like I'm trying to sell them this car that they don't want. It's a service. And so then we're aligned both to the offer, ourselves, and the client, like a nice little triangle, right? Because what is the client looking for? What does she want? and if you truly believe in what you're doing, whether it's a product or a service, and it's going to help or it's going to provide that transformation, then why wouldn't you want to offer that? So if there's any wobble there in your own belief in what you're offering, then that's where you kind of have to pull back and do that work, where it's like, I really believe in what I'm doing. And I know that you're a fan of, if it's a new offer, to like do a trade or do some exchange so that you can get that experience in doing the offer, so that you can believe in it more. You know what I mean? Like when it's brand new, whatever you need to be to really confident.
That depends on where you are in your business, but
sure. Yeah.
If you're just starting out, get some testimonials, get some experience so that you can trust people in it. If you are more experienced and you know what you're doing, but you're testing out a new offer or a new way of doing it, then I would say, you know, launch it as a beta. Either do a shorter version or do it at a lower price the first time, just so you can feel into what changes a program's going to need. You know, as a Manny-Gen or a generator, like, I know that any program I'm going to do isn't going to be the same probably until I've run it at least 6 times. It needs to keep going, and we go up that mastery staircase until it finally becomes what's right. And I think of Spellbinding Sales, when, you know, the first time it was very condensed and very short, and then it became a 6-month program, and it's likely going to be 12 months the next time, so that there is lots of room for implementation. And then there's, you know, weekly exercises to do in between the lessons, so that you're taking action in different ways, and you're taking, you know, rituals into what you're doing. And it's just this, I could say, like, ever-growing thing based on what people need. And that's part of understanding how we serve them, which this could be a good time to talk about the definition of kind of serving and why we really need to focus on serving. To me, I think a lot of people stop at the sales process, and that's kind of where they think about, like, that's what I need to focus on in my business. Where instead it's like, okay, now you have these clients. Let's say you have 10 new clients. How are you truly going to make a difference in their life? What type of experience do you want to create for them? I'll give you a hint. If it's a, you know, more positive, magical experience, they're probably going to be a little happier in the end, which means you're going to get testimonials, which means they may want to keep working with you, which means they're going to recommend other people to you. It's a win-win for everybody. That's what we want, to know that they've truly been affected, they've truly been transformed, and that they want other people to experience that same transformation. So when we serve, we are truly focused on, you know, leaving ourselves at the door and meeting our clients where they are, because we can't judge them or shame them. It has to be, you're here, okay, you want to get here, let's think about the most aligned way to get you down this pathway to where you want to be. And if that is being honest and reflecting that this process is going to take a little longer than you want, or you're out of alignment right now, so we need to shift the way, or even, sure, this idea of how you want to get there could work, but it's not truly aligned with you, it is our job to serve them and show them what is going to be the most aligned way to go about what they're doing. So why don't we talk about you? How do you show up as an aligned leader while serving? How does that look different than other pieces of the process?
Yeah, this is so important. And then thank you for defining, you know, serving, and also why it's so important. I mean, for me, I guess, like, the answer kind of starts to sound like it's the same for all of these, right? Like, I know what's true for me. I know what's true for me, how I am aligned as a leader, and I serve in that way. Give you an example. I am a connector, very much a connector, and I need to feel connected to who I'm working with, to for me to feel good about it, and for my clients to have a good experience. Just like evergreen digital download programs would not work for me at all. Like, I would not be excited to sell it. I just know that it just wouldn't, like, I wouldn't be serving in the way that I love to serve. Now, I'm also at a point where I'm looking at, how does that hold me back? because what this has done is the way that I like to serve is in smaller groups so that I can really nurture and connect with everyone. So I'm in a position in my business now where I'm looking at how do I still keep that connection while expanding that container, while expanding my capacity to serve with larger numbers while still feeling connected. Not sure how that's going to go. Like I said, I'm still very much in the process of it, but one of the ways that, okay, so a really simple way, how do I show up, in my alignment when I'm serving is that I become Facebook friends with all of my clients. And again, that might seem like a little thing, but I'm definitely still at the place where I can do that. Like, I want to connect with you. Another way is that the way I deliver most of my offers, again, are like a live Zoom call. I don't pre-record a lot. I do have one offer where the training videos are pre-recorded, and there's still a live component elsewhere in that program, right? So that's, again, just something for me, is knowing what works for me, how I serve best, how I show up best, and it's not going to be the same for everyone. Someone else could have huge success with like a passive income digital program. It's not me, or I haven't found the way to deliver that yet and still feel like I'm serving in an aligned way.
Yeah, it's interesting watching how we use our own skills in this. For me, I am not a connector. I am, the hermit. I'm the Scorpio.
I'm a Scorpio too.
And I like quietly observe pretty much everything. I feel like a stalker sometimes, because it's like I get Instagram notifications anytime my clients post something or they do a story. But there's also the deeper than that. It's the, we do tangible tracking and tangible keeping track of like, what is your goal and how are we getting there, and what support do you specifically need around that? If I notice that people in the program are needing more, I'm going to give it to them. And it's something that I kind of always expect at this point, that no program is going to look exactly the way that I market it, because I'm going to give them so much more. They're going to get like Voxer access, even if it says that you don't get one-to-one Voxer access, something will happen. Or they'll get co-working calls, and it'll be like, well, we didn't actually plan this, but why wouldn't you have time when you can work on your homework together and ask me questions? Like, it just makes sense. Mm-hmm. So knowing what my gifts are, and part of that for me, I'm an educator. I seriously doubt that I do any sort of work at this point that doesn't involve some sort of lessons. Even one-to-one is structured around like, we're learning something about your design, and then we're talking about the strategy of how to use that in your business or in your life, and making sure that we're leading with those lessons, giving you time to implement, and that I am delivering it in a way that you can truly use it, which is like following the education model instead of just dropping videos on you and expecting that to be enough to take you to implement. If we look at the pyramid of learning, that alone is not going to take you to where you can use the information. You might be able to recite it. Reciting, it's great. But if we look at least in the US, our education system, people learn things and then forget it after the test. And that's what we don't want our clients doing. No. So it's how can we get them to a place of learning where they're actually ready to implement the knowledge and put it forth in their business. And that's always going to be more than a one-step process, which is why things get expanded, why there has to be different elements to go with it. And it can't be just set and dry. It's got to be, some point of flexibility and pivot so that we can make it a little more custom to what a specific client needs, because everybody's different. Everybody's, business's design is different. Everybody has a different soul of their business, and we need to be able to accommodate all of that, or they're not going to become the pillar of transformation that they need to be. They're not going to become the leader that they need to be. And if we're not directing them to that, what the fuck are we doing?
Yes, so much yes. And, in being the pillar of transformation, I think the biggest piece in serving is remembering that you need to really be in your fullest alignment as a transformational leader. And so recognizing that in yourself. How am I supposed to be serving these women by showing them that they can, fully step into their power if I'm not fully stepping into my power, right? And a big lesson for me, and the analogy that I love to use is that we're the lighthouse, right? We're the lighthouse that is just showing the way. We're the light. We're not the tugboat helping them along to avoid the rocks, right? And for a long time, and that's being in the shadow side of my nurturer archetype, I was like, I'm going to help everyone along. Come with me, hand holding, tugboating, whatever you want to call it, over giving, and not being fully grounded and centered in my power. And therefore, how am I supposed to draw other women into their own power if I'm not doing that myself? So boundaries, in fact, setting my own boundaries to allow me to be more aligned and in my power, have been a big piece in me being able to serve in a better way. I now don't have anyone really reach out to me over the weekends, because I've made, it's like, I will fully serve you Mondays to Fridays. And then I go offline on the weekends. Whereas the beginning of my business, I'd have people texting me at like 9 p.m. on a Saturday night because they had a fight with their boyfriend. And I'd be like, suddenly, what am I doing here? So it seems almost counterintuitive, but boundaries have been a big way to.
It's not counterintuitive, because it's teaching them how to have a healthy relationship. And in this, if you can't have a healthy relationship with them, how are they supposed to provide that for their own clients and for everybody around them? Exactly. And there's always going to be a different flow. My clients can Vox me at any time, but they know I'm not going to answer necessarily. And it might be, if it's on the weekend or a holiday, I may not answer. I might, because I'm usually up late with the kidlet. And, instead of watching Paw Patrol or whatever, terrible show he's watching, it's like, yes, I would much rather talk to you. But if it's something super intensive at midnight, maybe I don't. No, I don't really want to dig into your energy at that point. I'll tell you when I'll be able to do it. But keeping that communication and making sure people are aware what is a healthy relationship with you.
Well, because otherwise we start to slip into toxic mentorship, right?
You slip into codependency too.
Codependency, exactly. And I know it's something I've seen a lot about toxic mentorship lately in that. So, yeah.
That is certainly something that is a passion project of mine right now. I've certainly experienced it. And after experiencing that and just having private conversations with people and noting how they spoke about their own experiences, there was definitely a period where I've looked at probably the last year and noted over half of the women coming to me or even just having casual conversations have been in some form of toxic mentorship or some form of abusive relationship with their mentor. And there's different levels of it, and there may just be slight pieces. And we all have work to do around this on, providing a better, making sure that we're not shaming, making sure that we're actually guiding instead of just being like, hey, it's your money blocks, go work on that. Because that awareness is great, but unless you're actually guiding them through that process or directing them to somebody who can, you're just victim blaming them, essentially. You're saying, nope, it's your own fault that I can't help you, and if you don't get success, it's because I told you had these money blocks and you didn't fix them, so sorry, you're out of luck. Keep paying me more, maybe I'll help you. Not really the relationship that we want to create. And it's time for all of us to start shifting the system and stop doing things the Tony Robbins way or the insert other big name here or the let's love and light wash it. And all you have to do is get aligned. All you have to do is say your affirmations, and suddenly you're going to have a great life and a great business. Sorry, that's not how this works.
all you have to do is a quantum exercise every day and not do any of the other actual running of a business. You'll be fine. No.
Yeah. We can just stay in the energy all the time, and maybe we'll get a lottery ticket blow into our lap.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm so glad you are speaking speaking out on it, because I guess I now feel fortunate that I haven't had that toxic mentor relationship, but I will fully admit that myself as a coach, I wouldn't say toxic. I certainly hope that none of my clients were, but more codependent patterns. And so there's some dysfunction there where I just overgive, right? And it's where I go in and I'm not empowering them. I think that I'm helping them, and I am helping them, but I'm not empowering them. And so I stopped all of that behavior, and I'm now in a very different place as a coach and a mentor, and it feels so much better. Yeah.
It's better for everyone. I mean, recently I had a client tell me that she was taking notes for all of her clients and sharing them with them after calls. And she was even doing this on free sessions and everything. And I'm like, you can take your notes because you're going to want those notes for yourself. But why are you enabling them to not do the work for their own growth by hand delivering them? This is what I think is important for you. This is what I think you need to know. Like, it would be so much easier and not take up your time if you just said, hey, here's your replay. Here's your homework. Here's how to reach me.
Done.
They need to do the work for themselves. If they're not going to do the work, they're not going to implement, and they're not going to grow.
Yeah. Yes. So you were you going to share an exercise. There was going to be like a homework assignment here.
Yes. I always share homework assignments, as you know. If you're around me in any sort of capacity, you're going to get homework. If you're on a live, if you just stroll by. Yep. I just need my son to get old enough so I can give him homework.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite exercises, and I was actually mentioning to Flora the other day, I was like, oh, I should probably do this again. I typically do it every quarter, and I haven't done it this quarter yet, so maybe we'll all be sharing the same quantum space as we do it. But to really think about one of your offers that you have open right now, what are you bringing people into? And then once you're aware of, okay, I want to bring 5 women into this group, whatever it is, then it's okay, what is going to transform for them? And then take a moment to get fully into yourself. Doing the leadership quantum work again would be great. And then I want you to write down a testimonial of what are they going to say after that time with you? And I like to get in complete channel mode. Sometimes I get exact names of people, but really seeing what do they have to say about the experience of working with me and getting in deep. All of that, is going to be stuff that you can use when you're speaking, on your sales pages, on your post, but it's also connecting you to the energy of women who are probably already connected to this offer. They've already made that soul contract to work with you, but they need you to do the energy and they need you to show up and talk about what they need. This exercise allows you to do both, and then you can use it as part of ritual. You can use it in quantum work. You can keep using that testimonial in a lot of different ways. So I want you to do this on pen and paper, the old-fashioned way, so that you can have a physical way to do it. If nothing, after you're done, put a white candle on it, add attraction oil. Orange, if you have it, is the very basic, but you can get fancier. I typically make my own. And burn the candle, really just focused on, making these women aware that they have this connection to you and bringing them in. And also aligning yourself to speak on the things that they need you to speak on so that they can connect to, oh, that is the transformation I need. I know it's from her. Let me figure out what is that specific package? What is that offer that's really going to help me get where I need to go? And very simple exercise, but it shifts things really wonderfully, and it creates so much capability for you to talk about, this is what came through. Okay, I can see everybody needs, work on their brand, or everybody needs talk about, how they do self-care for themselves. Let me start talking about my own processes. Let me start talking about what I've done with clients. You can open the doors that way.
Yes. I used to work for arts nonprofits for many years, and I was in fundraising and development. And one of the, tactics that was out there was at the beginning of your campaign, like when you're just starting to plan your fundraising campaign, start with the thank you letter that you're going to send to the donors. to bring you into that space of what will have happened, what do you want to be saying. And I feel this is very similar where you're starting when you're just beginning to plan a new offer, plan a new program, to start with that testimonial of that future client when they've already completed the program. And it really is a wonderful exercise. So I hope that you will do it and keep it as a, as a quantum magic exercise that you can do, regularly. I love that you say you do it every quarter. That's a great idea.
Every quarter, and often for every single launch. It's like one of the first things I do is I have a Trello board, and it's okay, let me ask myself these questions. Let me get clear on the structure. Who do I need to be to welcome the women in? Let me tap into them after I've done my energy work and write my testimonials and I've pulled signifiers and I've done all my other work. Then how do I want to connect with them? And that's where you create the whole launch plan from. And coming from somebody who loves making plans, who loves launching, who loves strategy, what I used to do in the corporate world, and I'm used to running $1 million launches, this is how to take that system and make it actually fit and not be the patriarchy. It's how to align it to your own design, to your own gifts, and to what your clients actually need, as opposed to just giving them the 3 videos in a webinar. Well, that's great, but is that what they need? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not.
3 videos in a webinar. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah. And this also helps us connect to that our clients are people. And, we can just have this idea, I'd love to have, 20, 50, 100, whatever it is. And it starts to feel more like numbers, but it really is relationships. These are people. And so when you take this time to connect in that sense, and you're remembering that every single number on your email list, every single person that you work with, whatever number you bring into your offers, she's a person, and what is she looking for, and how are you supporting her unfolding journey? So yeah, it's a great exercise. Thank you for that. And for me, I wanted to share my resource I mentioned it earlier, of my Magnetic Clarity Ritual Guide. And it's 5 rituals for spiritual entrepreneurs that really have to do with, clarity, attraction, and magnetism. So a lot of them can be done even if you're really just starting out or a brand new offer, and even if you're, have thousands of people on your email list and you want to bring in more ritual and ceremony into how, some more of the sorcery to your strategy, as I like to say. It's a free ritual guide that I want to share with you. And one of the exercises I adapt from something that Kristen shared, and I had her permission in including it in the guide. So you will get to enjoy that as a free resource. And did you have another free resource that you wanted to share?
What I think will be the most helpful for everyone is if you want to really focus on client transformation and understanding all of the bits and tools of having a healthy relationship with your clients and being that healthy mentor, is to go to my YouTube channel and check that out and make sure that you're clear on what does it look like? What does it feel like for them to experience? How do they heal after it? How does their business heal? Because it's an extensive process. And just the same as when you're coming out of an abusive romantic relationship, it's that same, trauma. And it's affecting your business. In some ways it affects it more, because it's not only are you traumatized, but your business is traumatized. And both of those have to heal in order for you to move forward and step into being who you need to be. So I would go over there and check out those videos and get really clear on what does the healthiest relationship as a mentor look like for you.
Wonderful. Yes. So check out Kristen's YouTube channel, become a follower over there. And we'll have the link to my guide. You've got a homework assignment of a future testimonial. You've got the journaling question to do. And, if I have any final words here, it's really like, we all know that running our own business, being freelancers, being entrepreneurs, it is a lot of work. It takes a lot from us. And we can, there's ups and downs, right? And when we take that daily rituals for our sacred self-care to really get our energy aligned, to make sure that we are in a good place, really everything starts to flow. Kristen said it today, if you feel like you're pushing, if you're doing things because you should do them, or if you're, copying someone else's way of doing things, or if you're outright kind of plagiarizing someone else's copy, but just changing a few words because you feel like you can't express it, like that's all going to create weird misalignment in what you are doing. You can do what you're doing being you, and remember that you're more powerful than you think, and you're more capable than you think. So bring in your magic. Bring it all in.
Bring in your magic, start at your human design, figure out how your energy is actually supposed to work so that you aren't trying to swim upstream and you aren't trying to push, and that you're working with how your energy really flows.
I love that. And if in addition to human design, which I totally support and love, even though I haven't totally gone down that rabbit hole, knowing your archetype and how your leadership style through your archetype, maybe I'll also include the link to my quiz that I have, which is finding out your sacred feminine archetype and bring it all together. I mean, ultimately, I think what we've been saying all along is be true to you, be aligned to you, and then just stay in your lane, rock you. Yeah. Well, I think we are wrapping this time together.
I think so. So thank you for joining us and for doing your homework,
Yes.
for joining in our energy, and know that whether you're watching it on a first replay, whether you're coming back and watching it later, you're still going to have the energetic shifts as you go through the grounding, as you go through the quantum work, and just allow it to lead you where it needs to lead you. New things are going to happen each time. Trust it.
Love that. Trust it. Good. Thank you so much, and bye for now.